So next we have atmospheric windows. Now all this while we have been studying the different processes that happen with the radiations in atmosphere. We've studied what is scattering. We've studied what is absorption. So basically now coming back to these atmospheric windows, what are windows? Windows allow you to pass in or block something, correct? So here we're talking about radiations which are emitted by the sources. Now the sources can be sun or earth. Obviously sun is going to be emitting much more amount of radiations as compared to earth, because what earth is actually emitting is the same energy which it has taken from sun, stored and giving back. Even then, we do consider sun and earth as two separate primary sources of energy. Now, over here, what you can see in this diagram, I'm just enlarging this. Now, what you can see here in the top portion of the diagram, on y-axis is the percentage of transmission, and x-axis are the different types of radiations based on their wavelengths. Wavelengths is depicted by lambda. Now, if you can see, this yellow patch is representing visible range of radiation. Now, from this particular figure on top, it's very clear that visible range is transmitted inside the atmosphere nearly up to around 95% or so, nearly around 100%. Now, by rule, you can understand that whatever is good, our atmosphere will try to transmit it, will take it inside. Our atmosphere will behave like an open window for whatever that is good that is coming inside. Whereas what is that is bad will be blocked. In that case, the window is closed. So if you can see here, UV rays, they are partly transmitted, partly blocked or partly absorbed. Now, as we go away from y-axis, or as we go further on x-axis, after visible band, you have infrared band. Now, infrared band also, there is here you can see there is a window here where there is no transmission, it is only absorption, right? Similarly, you go further ahead, you will understand how our atmosphere is behaving with microwaves. Now, on this figure that is down, you will see the peak of energy, and you will clearly understand the major portion of this peak is the energy transmitted by sun. And here a little small amount of energy is corresponding to earth. And what you can see here is the wavelength of the energy that is transmitted by earth, okay, or emitted by earth is way much higher as compared to that of sun. This is in confirmation with what we studied in physics also, that anything that is cold is going to transmit higher value of lambda, right? And anything that's hot is going to transmit the smaller wavelengths. Yet again, here we do not know this absorption or transmission in the atmosphere is due to which component in the atmosphere. See, in the atmosphere we have gases, we have water vapor, correct? So then we have dust particles. So all these things will be cause of absorption or scattering. If you want to go into detail, like this entirely, this absorption is by which component, like how much is oxygen is absorbing it, how much is absorption by nitrogen, how much is by moisture content, then I'm providing a link of the video which I found very useful, and the speaker has spoken in very simple and legible language. So you can go through this video. There, the speaker has fragmented the atmosphere into various components. So there it becomes more easy to understand. All right, now coming back to our slide, by comparing the characteristics of two most common energy radiation sources, that is sun and earth, with atmospheric windows available to us, we can define those wavelengths which we can use most effectively for remote sensing. The visible portion of the spectrum to which our eyes are most sensitive corresponds to both an atmospheric window and peak energy level. You can see here the yellow band, which is corresponding to visible part of the spectrum, is having maximum transmission. At the same time, it is also having maximum energy. Note also that heat energy emitted by Earth corresponding to a window of around 10 microns. So here you can see this green part is corresponding to the radiations emitted by Earth, and their wavelengths are somewhere in the range of 10 microns. That is in the range of thermal infrared portion. While a large window of wavelength beyond 1 mm is associated with microwave region. Okay. Now, when energy interacts with Earth's surface, now we were studying previously about atmosphere, energy interactions with atmosphere. Now, with the Earth's surface, when it interacts, there are basically three things that will happen to the radiations. Either it will get reflected, or it will get absorbed, or it will get transmitted. And we have seen this equation in our lower years in physics, that energy will be due to either the reflected part or absorbed part or transmitted part. This is basically the simple principle of energy conservation. Now, when it reflects or when it interacts with Earth's surface features, okay, based on the properties of those surface features, there will be a spectral reflectance curve that is plotted. Now, over here in this image, what you can see on x-axis is wavelength, y-axis is reflectance. Now, each of this line is plotted for a typical surface feature. So now this one, okay, a line and dots is representing fresh snow. Alright, so here we are, I've just downloaded the electromagnetic spectrum image for your reference. So what you see from here onwards on x-axis is your wavelength. So this particular image is taken in visible spectrum, and it goes up to infrared. Okay, so up to 0.7 is your visible band, and from 0.7 to 3 is your near infrared. Infrared goes up to 100. Okay, so up to 100, when I say that is not seen here. Here the band ends on 2.4, while near infrared will be ending on 3. So from here onwards till this side, it's all infrared portion, okay, which is used to capture the images. So now we'll take one by one. Fresh snow, when you capture it in infrared region, you will see that the spectral reflectance, as you go farther away in the wavelength, goes down and down. Okay, green vegetation, you will see it has pretty good reflectance. Okay, and in near infrared region, the reflectance is still higher. What you can see from here till 0.7 is visible, so it will look green. Correct? In infrared, what we have seen in our image, we had assigned red color, but what this curve is telling you is, if I take an image of greenery in infrared region, the reflectance is pretty high. Okay, and similarly, if I talk about snow in infrared region, the reflectance is very low. So what does that mean? That means if I take an image of snow-capped mountains in infrared region, it will look black because it's not going to reflect much. Are you understanding? Whereas if I take the image of greenery in infrared region, it will have pretty good reflectance. Okay, similarly, now dark toned soil will have little less reflectance. If you remember the image that we took during our practicals, wherever there was dark tone, okay, that was near to water bodies. Okay, and light tone will have higher reflectance. So based on this particular property, if I am taking an image of sand or of soil in infrared region, we can clearly distinguish between which is a darker soil, which is a lighter soil, just based on the image. Clear water
is depicted by this particular. Clear water is going to have lesser reflectance. Turbid water is going to have higher reflectance. See, can you see this? So over here, because of the amount that it gets reflected, it is very easy for us to demarcate different features. Okay, now next we'll go to application of remote sensing, which is most important for us. Which are the fields of application? The first one is agriculture. Okay. Now what I'll do is, before I teach all these applications, I will just explain all how the images are interpreted. Now, when I take an image from satellite, there are certain factors which will help you in interpreting the image. First is the tonal quality of the image. Now you look at this particular image, okay? Now tone refers to the brightness or color of the object. I just spoke, when you take an image in infrared and you are taking an image of a soil which is having moisture content, then it will look darker, right? Then if a soil which is having less moisture content, it will look light. A soil which is actually dark in color will look lighter because it will reflect less. So all this tonal quality can help you to identify the features. Okay. Variation of the tone also allows you to understand the shape, texture or the pattern of the object that has to be distinguished. Okay. Then again, shape refers to the general form. If you look at the shape, you can easily tell what can be that feature. Right? Now if you look at this image, you can see this is a huge thing, huge structure. And this is a small structure, this is a small structure, this is a small structure. Just looking at the shape or the size also helps you in identifying the feature. Now looking at this image, you can see the tone, you can see the shape, you can see the size. What can you say about this building? This is seen here. Can I just look at the size of this building and the other buildings and say this has to be a non-residential building? Can I comment? Yes, obviously, because residential buildings will not be so huge in sizes, right? Similarly, if I take now this particular image over here, this particular image, okay, I can clearly say that this has to be a covered land. This must be having some vegetal cover as compared to this. This is reflecting very high. So this must be a barren land. This must be something which is covered with grass. Here I can see very dark image. So that means I can understand that this could be a water body. Here you can see this line which is having a very high reflectance. So I can, this line, similarly this line. So I can guess from here that this has to be a road. This has to be a road. Right? So what are all these? Just looking at this image that I'm guessing, I'm actually making use of the tone, I'm making use of the shape, and I'm making use of the size of these features to probably decipher what could be these features. Okay. Now the next thing is pattern. Pattern refers to the spatial arrangement of visibly discernible objects. Typically, an orderly repetition of similar tones or textures will produce a distinctive, ultimately recognizable pattern. So what I mean by that? Now over here you can see it's a typical repetitive pattern. What could be this thing? This will be, if I'm not mistaken, something like a pasture land or an orchard, okay, where you have planted trees in an organized manner. Now texture refers to the arrangement and frequency of the tonal variations. Rough texture will consist of mottled tone where the gray levels change abruptly in small area, whereas smooth textures would have very little tonal variation. Understood? The smooth textures are most often the result of uniform and even surfaces, such as field. A field will not look like this. What will a field look like? Something like this. What you can see here. Something like this. It will look very fairly even. If you see something like this, now over here it's very clear that it's an orchard. But the moment you see tonal variation or the texture, it looks as if it's a rough surface, then it has to be tree cover. It will not be a small grass. Understand? Similarly, now over here, I can see it's a very smooth finish in this place. So this has to be a little bit of, there has to be a covered pavement. This has to be a covered pavement. This may be asphalt or this may be concrete. This cannot be road, just made out of mud. This cannot be a pedestrian road. This has to be a covered pavement. So that you can guess based on the texture of the image. A target with rough surface or irregular surface such as forest canopy results in a rough textured appearance. Texture is one of the most important elements for distinguishing the features in radar imagery. Next is shadow. Based on the shadow, what can you guess? Shadow is also helpful in interpreting as it may provide an idea of profile and relative height. This is the most important thing. From the shadow of the image, now you look at this. From the shadow you can guess which will be a taller building, which will be a shorter building. Understood? Next is association. Association takes into account relationship between the other recognizable objects or features in proximity of the interest. Now, what do I mean by this? See, if I identify that there is a commercial property, okay, then I should anticipate that somewhere near that commercial property there has to be major transportation routes. There may be a rail line. If it's a, let's say, if it's a major trade area or it's an industrial estate. If it's an industrial estate, I should anticipate there should be a highway around it. Okay? Or if it's a major metropolitan city that I am taking an image of, then I should anticipate that there has to be a stadium, there has to be an airport, all these things have to be somewhere around. So that is basically the importance of association. Or a second example could be if you are around a lake or a major navigation structure, then you should anticipate that somewhere around there will be boats, there will be huge ships. Okay, so that is importance of association. Then the next is visual interpretation of infrared imagery. Now this I have already covered, but let's repeat it nevertheless. Healthy vegetation reflects infrared radiation much more stronger than green energy. So what I am saying is, if you take an image in visible spectrum, if you take image in green light, now I had just shown you all this image. Now this is in visible spectrum, right? In visible spectrum, green light is where is green light? Somewhere around 0.5. So over here, somewhere here is 0.5. Now which is the line referring to green? This dark line is referring to green vegetation. How much is the reflectance? Not much. It's somewhere around 10%. Understood? Now if you see in infrared, if I take the same green vegetation image in infrared band, what is the reflectance? Nearly 40. Okay, 40 and somewhere around 30 it goes on, near infrared region. So if I have two different species, my visible band will not give me much of the difference. Whereas my infrared band will be able to tell me the difference in species, because the reflectance will vary in different species. Reflectance is due to the chlorophyll pigment. The moment you have two different types of plants or three different types of plants, their reflectance will be more, highlighted in infrared band. Right? Let's go back. Where was I? Here. So, a simple example is appearance of light tone by vegetation species and dark tone by water. This is seen in infrared band. Particularly in thermal infrared ranges, the brightness tone represents warmest temperatures and darkest represent coolest temperatures. The change, that's why I told you snow will look like a dark black color. Snow, even water looks very dark. Changes in kinetic water temperature causes the tonal changes. Hence, time is also to be taken into consideration before interpretation. Right? Heat is easily captured in infrared region. So you have to understand at what time the image is being captured. Radar imagery Smooth surfaces reflect highly and area blocked from radar signal will be appearing dark. Bridges and cities will show a bright tone. If you remember the image that we did in our practicals, there were gray spots on that image. Okay, I could have shown you, but the time is running out. The gray spots will be something which is reflecting very brightly. That's why we understand that this is a building. Concrete will reflect very easily. So on the contrary, calm water pavements and dry lake beds appear very dark in tone. Correct? Now have a look at this. Pause the video and I want you all to tell me where are these places. Okay? Where is the racetrack in this image? Where is a river? Where is the road? Where is a bridge? Where is the residential area? And where is a dam? All these things I want you all to tell me just from this image. It's obviously a very blurred image, but all these things can be easily identified in this image. Pause it and find out. Okay, so the first thing, where is a racetrack? A racetrack will be obviously this. Why? Because of the shape. Right? We are considering the shape. Racetrack will be definitely this. Where is a river? I told you river will always absorb a lot of energy. So look at this. This is a dark patch, so obviously that is a river. Where are the roads? Roads you can see here. Here there is a road. Here there is a road. Here there is a road. Here in between all these are roads. Where is a bridge? Bridge will be obviously spanning the river. So you can see there are bridges here. One bridge over here. So while identifying bridge, what are the properties that I'm using? I'm using association. Because there is a river, obviously this will be a bridge. Where is a dam? Again I'm making use of association. If this is a river, then dam will be across the river only. So here I can see the circular one. This is a dam. Correct?